Hi, and welcome back to the Heretical Heart Podcast. I'm your host, April Porter, and today I was a guest on a podcast called the MoFo Podcast, the Mother Photographer Podcast, and we had a great conversation around human design and business, and you should go check out that episode as soon as it's out. But one of the things that came up was this idea around quitting in business and looking at our different energy types in human design. And I shared this idea that I believe that quitting is one of the best things that we can do in our business. And I like to call it it's like the art of sacred quitting. And sacred quitting to me means really listening into, what is true and correct for us and honoring that truth within us. So sometimes we get into business and we find ourselves saying yes to things that we later regret. Especially if you have an emotional authority or, maybe you're not really connected to your inner authority yet and you're still kind of playing with it. You're making these decisions that may or may not be aligned. And I think, especially for those of us who have a defined will center, we say yes to something and we will kill ourselves to see it through until we decide that we are done with it. If we've given our word, integrity means a lot to us, and we will see that thing through until the end, even at our own demise. And I want to say that there is no shame in quitting. I'm going to say that again. There is no shame in quitting. I do believe that we have a responsibility, though, to quit it in a way that feels in integrity for ourselves and our clients or customers, because they deserve that, right? But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't quit something that we entered into that we decide we don't want to do. Because one, who wants our energy doing something that we don't actually want to do? It feels yucky. And for me as a projector, that yuckiness comes off as bitterness. And nobody wants a bitter projector. Just like nobody wants a frustrated generator or frustrated or angry manegen or a disappointed reflector or an angry manifestor. Like, nobody wants that, right? That's living in the not self. It's living in this idea that we are out of alignment and our emotions are telling us something is not working. So when we bring that into an offer, into a container, into a relationship with a client or customer, that is what they're getting from us. And that's not fair, right? They're giving us their hard-earned money in exchange for something of value from us. Now, if we're showing up with something less than valuable, that doesn't seem fair. So quitting, sacred quitting, is important for all of us. It's to our greatest benefit. It's to our clients' greatest benefit. So if you are a generator or manifesting generator, there is often a huge piece of conditioning around people pleasing, around doing things that nobody else wants to do, about doing the hard things. But just because you have this renewable energy source every day doesn't mean that you have to do those things. You don't have to pick up the slack for things that other people don't want to do. If your inner authority, if you're sacral, and if you're an emotional authority, you're sacral, and then having emotional clarity over time says, yes, this is for me, great, do that thing. But if you're getting this no, this ick, this like, oh my gosh, heaviness, I don't want to be doing this, but I feel like I have to, take a step back and look at, do I really want to do this, or do I feel like I have to do this? And if I feel like I have to do this, why do I feel that way? Where does that come from? Is that from childhood? Is it from society? Where are you getting this idea that you have to do something that you don't want to do? Now, I will say there's a caveat to that, right? Like sometimes we have to do things in business that we don't love, right? Like maybe I'm not a numbers person. Not really. But I still have to do my accounting, right? I can hand over a certain amount to an accountant, but on a daily basis, I need to know what money's coming in and what money's going out. So there are basic aspects of that I do have to manage, even if I hire someone to help me with it. But it doesn't mean that you have to take on projects. It doesn't mean that you have to take on clients. It doesn't mean that you have to take on events or containers that no longer serve you anymore. Just because you offered something in the past doesn't mean you have to keep offering it. And like I said, projectors show up as bitter when they're doing things that they don't want to do. So do you have the energy for it? Do you feel recognized for doing this thing? Do you want to keep doing it? Does it feel like your zone of genius, or do you feel like you're just trying to fulfill a role that looks like it should be fulfilled? And manifestors, are you in a cycle of rest and you're trying to push with your energy and keep going? Have you created something that maybe would be better off to sell, like a business that maybe you should sell and move on to the next thing after a cycle of rest, rather than showing up every day trying to fulfill whatever it is that you created when your energy is no longer in it? And reflectors, are you in a place where you're showing up and being in an environment that is not nurturing you, that is not healthy for you? I would invite you to take a look at those things and see, where in my life am I saying yes where I want to say no? Because anywhere you're saying yes where you want to say no, you're also blocking your yeses to the things that you do want to do. So think about that. Every time you take on something you don't want to do, it's blocking you from something you do want to do. What would you be receiving? Who would you be connecting with? What opportunities could come your way if you said no to one thing today that you were doing that you don't want to do? So take a moment, reflect on what that may be for you, and I invite you to DM me and let me know, what is something that you want to quit that you have felt like you can't quit? All right, I will see you in the next episode.